Who's ready for some hot honey maple ribs? Because I can tell you, these are bringing the flavor. Let me show you how we cook them. All right, now that we've got our Prairie Fresh St. Louis cut ribs out of the pack here, I'm gonna take a look at them. Looks like this slab's gonna be a little bit bigger than this one. I'm gonna take and trim off some of this flap meat here. Go ahead and get it off. Now, I'm gonna square up the ends here. You see when I pull that flap meat off there? Just go ahead and go right up beside that bone there. Gonna knock that off. Now I'm gonna go down here and knock this single bone off on the end right here. I always knock those single kind of end bones, not much meat to that. Go ahead and get this one off. Just trim a little bit more of this flap meat off. Now I'm gonna turn this rib around and kind of go, just lay my knife down and just scan right across it to make it even. Kind of see what I'm doing here? I'm gonna peel the back side of that rib down and come down and cut it off. Right there like that. Now that you got that done, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna square this rib up. So if you see I've got it running right with the bones here, you kind of see when I take my knife and I run up through here, there's not but a little bit of this rib that needs taken off to square it up perfect. So I'm gonna come in here and go down on that cartilage bone and just cut. Now, this is gonna be your rib tips that a lot of people here in the South, including myself, like to cook up and eat. That's a good pitmaster snack. These make good. They even sell them on sandwiches and in plate lunches around here at gas stations in Mississippi. You can get them about anywhere. So we're gonna keep trimming on this rib here. I think the top of that rib looks pretty good. Get that off. Top of that rib looks real good. Now we gotta go back and skin these ribs in just a minute, but we'll get them after we knock a few more pieces off of this old big rib over here. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna push my bones, kind of turn them, right? And I'm gonna look at the back of this rib compared to this one, and I don't think we need but a little bit taken off of it. Now it's totally up to you if you do this, but if you see all these cartilage bones running in here, it's gonna make it easier to cut if you kind of cut that off of there. So I'm gonna go right behind this cartilage bone here and go up through here. And go down. Now, there's another set of rib tips. Now, I did not cut this end off. Let's go ahead and do that. Get it off. Now, I'm gonna get a little more of this flap meat off down this one. This is kind of big here. You just wanna stay on top, come all the way down. Just like so. Now, once you kind of get all that off of there, I'm gonna turn this rib over. Now this rib here is gonna have some thick pockets of fat. I can feel it with my hand here, and I know that smoke's not gonna penetrate that all the way. So I'm gonna take and shave a little bit of that hard fat off right there. Come back and get a little bit more of that. Now that's down where that's gonna render right there. Now a quick, easy way to ensure that's gonna render, you can take and poke a little holes in that, kind of help it just a little bit. That's totally optional. And I'm gonna knock a little bit of this heavy fat, kind of how it flares up on the end of this rib. I'm gonna knock a little bit of that off right here. Now, once we get that knocked off, those ribs are pretty much ready to be seasoned, except for skinning the membranes. So let's go ahead and knock these out. So when we were skinning those baby back ribs, it's so much easier to take your thumb and get under there. When you get to these St. Louis style ribs, it is a little bit harder because you don't have the arch of that bone, and you've got all of this back of this membrane going up beside all this flap meat here. So it's kind of harder to tear off, let's face it. So I'm gonna go in here with my thumb and see if I can't get under one of these bones, and I may have to have the assist of a paper towel on this one. Well, I got most of it, but you can see it left a little bit here and a little bit here. So let's just move down. And get that piece off. And that piece. Now that rib is skinned. So this one here looks like it's gonna give me some trouble. Did I tell y'all it's cold out here today? Now you kind of see what I said, it was gonna give me a little bit of trouble there, how it kind of ripped in half. I could tell by the kind of thick pocket of fat right here. I'm gonna take my thumb and just kind of go under that. Keep ripping it and just keep tearing. Now right here is kind of where you want to get your paper towel at, that last little bit. Go ahead and tear any of that off. Grab anything you see that you want to get off. I think everything else is good on these ribs and they're ready to be seasoned. So today we're gonna go our garlic jalapeno rub as a base, and we're gonna go our honey chipotle rub. Cooking a little bit of hot honey maple ribs. So let's get a binder and let's get some seasonings on. All right, let's get a binder on. You can not use a binder, you can spritz with water to use a binder, you can use oil, you can use mustard. You do you, totally up to you. I'm gonna use a little bit of binder here, use a little bit of olive oil, or a lot. Kind of get that rubbed in on both sides. Now, once we get our ribs kind of oiled up, and get your meat rubbed down, time to get it seasoned. Like I said, I'm gonna start with a good base coat of garlic jalapeno rub. If you don't have this, use whatever you like. Salt, pepper, garlic base rub, totally up to you. I'm getting that nice undertone from that jalapeno powder, what I like. Now, let's come on back here with this honey chipotle. And then I'm gonna tell y'all, this honey chipotle rub is one of my favorite rubs. One of my favorites. It is great by itself, but used in conjunction with everything else. Great color, great bite, real good. And kind of pat this in here, nice golden color. Now, down with a good base of garlic jalapeno rub. And once we get that good base down, we're coming on back with that honey chipotle. All right, we're gonna let these sweat in just about 10 minutes. Get our grill kind of tuned in, 275 to 300, and let this gateway drum eat on some Royal Oak charcoal. All right, we've got our gateway drum fired up, got it running at about 280 degrees right now actually, so anywhere between 275 and 300 is perfectly fine. But would y'all look at this gateway drum here? Tim outdone himself on this drum here. You know, it's just pretty dang cool if you ask me. So let's get these ribs on here. I'm gonna get them laid on my rack here. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a little bit of avocado spray though and spray that rack here a little bit. Make cleanup just a little bit easier. So you can see our coals in here. I don't wanna keep this off too long. I'm gonna go ahead and lay our ribs on and get them on that rack. Now, I wanna bunch them up a little bit. Now, I'm gonna close the lid and let them go. I'm gonna give them about 20 minutes and I'm gonna get in there and spin them off of that fire, and we're just gonna keep checking them every 20 minutes till they're ready to wrap. All right, we're still running about 275 degrees. I'm gonna get this lid off here. It's been about 20 minutes. Now you can see this is a perfect time to open the grill lid. Come on over, look at this blood pooling right here out of this rib. You see this, how it pushes those dark spots out of those ribs? I'm gonna go ahead and take a little napkin here and just get some of that off. And we will re-season that in a little while, but you see those dark spots there on that rib? That's just that blood pushing out. Hemoglobin, whatever you want to say, it's really not blood. Now, y'all see I took a little bit of that off. I'm gonna put a little bit more of it back. Cover up them spots. Yeah, we kind of took off there. Get that going. Now, while I get this grill lid open, I'm gonna spin these ribs around here, get my lid back on. We were running about 275, and I bet that minute or so I had that lid off, we're gonna jump up here a little over 300. So I'm gonna wait right here, kind of close my vents down, calm it down, keep it right at 300. We'll be back in another 20 minutes. All right, we are 40 minutes in. Let's see what our ribs look like. Oh yeah, starting to get a little bit of bone pull back here. I'm gonna go under this rib here. Oh yeah, look at the back of that rib. It's got some good sizzling pop to it. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna leave these ribs alone, let them go for at least another 20. I'm gonna rotate that around. They are looking great. Let's get this grill lid shut. See if we can't keep it about that 275 mark like we've got it, and let it keep rolling. It did spike up to 300 a while ago, but as soon as we got the lid back on it, in 5 minutes, it was calmed back down, so no big deal. All right, we're about 1 hour and 5 minutes in on our ribs. Let's get in here and look at them. Oh yeah, look at this. Now I've got on a heat glove underneath here. Oh yeah, look at the back of that rib. Just like the front of that rib. Now I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna turn these over and I'm gonna let them go about another 20 minutes right here. I'm gonna rotate this around. I usually never really flip my ribs face down, but today I am, and for the simple reason, once I glaze these with that honey maple glaze, I'm not using any barbecue sauce. I'm gonna come back with a little bit more barbecue rub. It's gonna be a semi kind of wet rib, but not a really wet rib. We're gonna pull them out of that wrap, redust them, put them back here, set them. They're gonna be kind of a dry maple when we're done with it. So let's keep cooking here. We'll be back. All right, we've been running 1 hour and 20 minutes. Our drum is setting about 285, 290 degrees. Let some smoke get off of here, get my pan. Look at this rib. Oh, look at the sizzle on that. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, our ribs is off the grill. We're gonna use our maple honey habanero glaze here. I'm gonna put a little bit down in the foil. Whoop. And I'm gonna grab a rib. And I'm gonna go some more on the back. And I'm gonna take my brush here and kind of smear that in. It's kind of a little chilly out here. This glaze is not as thin as usual. Now, I've got this foil doubled up here. So you want to make sure that you're grabbing both pieces and go over. Let's wrap this other slab up. I'm gonna tell you, it's hard to beat that drum smell, guys. That grill smell smells so good. Now, I'm gonna take this rib here and turn it around here. Look at that color on that rib. That is just a great color, great bend, flex. Man, like I said, the smell is great. Now, got both my ribs here. Let's carry them back over here and get them back on the drum. So these are gonna go about 45 minutes is what I'm gonna set a timer for, and I'm gonna check them. So actually, I'm probably gonna set a timer for about 20 minutes and rotate them, and then let them go about another 20 minutes and check them. So that'll be about 40 minutes. And that'll give us 2 hours total. These drums are 2-hour rib cooking machines. Anywhere between 2 and 2.5 hours, you can put off a perfect set of ribs. Quick, easy, and fast. Get them back in. Get our grill lid shut. Just like the grill says. That garlic jalapeno is doing its job on that meat. We'll be back in about 20 minutes. All right, it's been another 20 minutes. Let's get our lid off. And all I'm doing is simply, I'm gonna tilt those around like that, and I'm gonna go right through the foil. That rib's showing. You know what? I'm gonna shut the lid. That was a smaller rib. I'm gonna grab my sheet pan, get everything ready. I'm gonna pull that rib out there and open it up and look at it. With it reading a little over 200 degrees, I wanna be exact. I don't wanna overcook this rib. All right, I got them off. I'm gonna peel this back. They're close, but they need about another 15 minutes. So I'm gonna stick it back in here and let it go. All right, we are about 2 hours and 15 minutes in on our ribs here. And I can tell y'all, I'm not even gonna check them. You know, this one right here was hitting 200 a while ago, and we let it go another 20 minutes. I'm gonna call it. I'm not even gonna unwrap them. All right, our ribs have been sitting out here resting right at 20 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Oh yeah. I wish y'all could smell the flavor. And look, this is gonna make a sticky, sweet rib. This is right out of the foil. Look at that. Oh yeah, look at that. Incredible set of ribs right there. Hold up, we gotta pick her up. Oh yeah, we got a clapper, got a clapper. That's what we're looking for. You take that ribbo and you take this wanting to crack right down the middle. Perfect doneness right here, perfect doneness. Dead on the money. Oh man, that looks so pretty, I don't even want to cut it. Let's do some slicing. So just to recap, we took our ribs here, trimmed them down out of the pack. They were Prairie Fresh St. Louis prime ribs. We then turned around, put a little bit of olive oil binder on them, use a good coat of garlic jalapeno rub, and then come back with our honey chipotle rub. We put them on our drum. We rotate them every 20 minutes for about an hour and 20 minutes. And then we wrapped them up for about 40, no, actually it was about 50 minutes. We wrapped them up and we let them rest for 20. This is a great, great rib. The smell of it is incredible. If you like a little bit of maple flavor with a spicy note, this is gonna be your rib. I'm gonna tell y'all though, this rack of ribs here, and I'm gonna get one of these big meaty ones here. I want you to look at that right there. That moisture in that rib coming to the surface of it. It's got the moisture, it's got the feel. Guys, I know this one's gonna be good, without a doubt. I can tell y'all though, there's only one thing left to do. Let's get in here and try this rib. Let's take a bite. Sorry y'all, it is that good. Y'all, that rib, as Big Jake would say, that's where it's at right there. That is, if you're a fan of maple and a little bit of spice, you have really, really got to try this rib. If you like our recipe, be sure to follow along and share it with your friends. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Pinterest. I'll see you next week with another video.